On a warm, sunny day, by the edge of a shimmering pond, Mother Duck sat on her nest, patiently waiting for her eggs to hatch. One by one, the eggs cracked open, revealing fluffy yellow ducklings. But there was one egg left, bigger and different from the others. Finally, the last egg began to crack. Out came a duckling, but he looked different. He was bigger, his feathers were gray, and he didn't look like his brothers and sisters at all. Mother Duck led her ducklings to the pond for their first swim. The gray duckling swam just as well as the others, but the other animals around the pond couldn't help but notice how different he looked. As the days passed, the other ducklings began to tease the gray duckling. "You're so big and ugly," they quacked. The poor duckling felt sad and lonely. The gray duckling decided to leave the pond and set off on his own. He waddled through fields and meadows, searching for a place where he belonged. The duckling came across a farm and decided to stay for a while. But the farm animals didn't treat him any better. The chickens pecked at him, and the cows mooed in laughter. Once again, the duckling felt out of place. The duckling fled to the woods, where he found a quiet spot near a small pond. He stayed there all alone, watching as the seasons changed. Winter came, and the pond froze over. The duckling struggled to stay warm, shivering in the cold. He dreamed of a place where he could be warm and happy. As the snow began to melt and spring arrived, the duckling saw a flock of beautiful white birds landing on the pond. He had never seen such elegant creatures before, and felt a deep longing to be like them. Curious, the duckling approached the water and saw his reflection for the first time since winter. But what he saw wasn't the awkward gray duckling he remembered. He had grown into a beautiful swan. The other swans swam over and welcomed him with open wings. They told him that he had always been a swan, just a little different when he was young. The ugly duckling had finally found his place. Filled with joy, the young swan spread his wings and flew for the first time. He soared high above the trees, feeling free and happy. He had found where he truly belonged. The swan decided to return to the pond where he was born. When he arrived, all the animals who once teased him were amazed by his transformation. They realized they had been wrong to judge him by his appearance. The swan lived happily ever after, proud of who he had become. He was no longer the ugly duckling, but a beautiful swan who had found his place in the world. And every now and then, he would remind himself that true beauty comes from within.